Joe Budden has suspended Rory and Mal. And the reason why I wanted to cover this is because, well, we do a podcast. But their podcast started based on a friendship. These were a bunch of friends, and they said, let's do a podcast. And then the podcast turned into what it was. Even before Joe Budden suspended them, there was whispers that they weren't happy with how they were being compensated. Rory's been saying, like, yo, like, I want to fight you. I want to fight you. And Joe's, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight my friends. And Rory's, well, what if we're not friends? What the fuck? Then Mal approaches him, and Mal says, well, who are you to say that this nigga can't come to the podcast and needs to take some time off? And then an argument ensues, and here we are. If their name is in the title of the show, doesn't that automatically give them the authority to suspend someone?
Yes, I hear you. Joe Budden is on the one side, but without Rory and Mal, if it was possible to build it in this way, Joe Budden would have done it that way by himself.
Right.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, whether he chose to do it because they were his friends and he just wanted to help them, or whether he felt like he needed them, is irrelevant, because all of them together is what made the podcast successful.
Right.
You know what I mean? Regardless of how it started off.
So, do you think he has the authority to say, yo, you can't come in the next couple weeks?
It depends on the deal that they made. If they made a deal where, yo, this is the big boss and he's going to do all the paperwork and take care of the business, and we're just here to show up for the show, then yeah.
But here's the other thing. So, Joe Budden says, hey, you know, Rory, me and you are friends, but we barely talk. All we do is just work, and if we talk about work, and that's it. He's like, I have no idea what's going on in your house. I don't know how your relationship is. I don't know anything about your personal life. And Rory's response to that was, well, why do you need to know anything? I come to work, I do my job, I do it well, and then I go home. The business started as with them being friends.
Friends, right.
And now it's like the friendship is taking a back seat, and it's just business. Like, who would say that to a friend?
Yeah, that part I don't agree with for sure, because like you need to have that type of relationship somewhat to even have a discussion and have that rapport, right? Like, in order to build that, in order to keep it going, you have to become friends. Like, you have to talk to each other because you're going to be with each other every day.
Pretty much.
So if all you do is you just show up and just talk about the topics, there's not going to be any chemistry. It's not going to be a very good show. So I agree with Joe.
So you agree with Joe on that part.
Yeah.
So let's take that part of it and then let's apply it to our podcast really quick. Let's just say that that's what our shit was. Dre, clock in, clock out, tomorrow same time. How long, but realistically here, and this is going to go back to the Joe Budden thing. How long do you think we could sustain a podcast? If all we did was this time talk, clock out, and I don't hear from you again.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work for me. That doesn't work for me, because you see, my problem is I suck at faking it.
Right.
I'm really shitty at faking it. Like, it's got to be authentic. I got to be able to speak my mind and say what I feel. And more importantly, I got to be able to say what I want to you and you not take it personally. And the only way that's possible is if we have that type of relationship to the point where we understand what it is.
So bringing it back to, and that's a great point, and that's true. So if that's an agreeable, I don't want to say fact, but if that's an agreeable opinion, if that is what's happening at the Joe Budden podcast, where it's just clock in, clock out type of vibe, how long can this podcast really go on for?
And it can't, because we all know the type of person Joe Budden is and how Joe Budden speaks to people. And I'm pretty sure the way Joe Budden speaks to his friends is far more aggressive than the way he probably speaks to his enemies, because he loves his friends, and you speak worse to the people that you love.
Exactly.
Because you feel like you can say certain things, and you should be able to. So that's why it can't work if they don't think that they're friends, especially with the way this guy talk. Come on.
It would be interesting if they come back, because obviously when and if they do come back, that's obviously going to be the very first thing that they address on that comeback episode. But I would have just been like, I personally would have preferred that you don't speak about it, and then if I choose to come back, we can have that conversation all together. And then if I don't choose to come back, you can have that exact same conversation. You can have that conversation with the audience. But this way, at least it could be like a beginning, a middle and an ending. You can give the audience a conclusion. You know what I mean? So right now, it just, I don't know. Like I got why he did it, but I also thought it was messy. So
I know they're acting off emotions, but this is what everybody wants. Rory and Mal, they don't want to be part of the show because they feel like whatever, they're not getting compensated enough.
That's whispers. We don't know.
Joe Budden doesn't respect it. Well, he even said it in the thing that's how they felt, that they weren't getting compensated enough. But they don't feel whatever, so they don't want to be a part of it. So now they're not. And Joe Budden obviously feels like he's the big boss and that this show can operate without them, or else he wouldn't have suspended them in the first place. He clearly feels he can do the show without them.
Viewing public, what are your thoughts here, man? If Rory and Mal do not return back to the Joe Budden podcast, you tuning in? Is it the same without Rory and Mal? Is it all good when it's just Joe? Do you think Joe overstepped? Do you think Joe even has the right to tell somebody who built the show from ground up, episode 1 with him, like, hey, yo, you can't come in? Is there any truth to them not being properly compensated? There's been whispers. Leave it in the comments, man. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Dre said he ain't coming in for the next few podcasts. I have nothing to do with that. All right? Deuces.
Good luck.
Thank you guys so much for watching that video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe.
Yo, Chris, we got to 200 subscribers,
Finally.
man.
Finally.
You know what I'm saying? But we don't want to stop there. We have a new goal. The new goal is 500 subscribers. So what I need you to do, I need you to like these videos over here. I need you to subscribe right here, man. Two guys doing the podcast, man.